Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we have some spoilers ahead for Campaign 3 up to episode 78, so if you aren't caught up, get caught up. You have 2 weeks. Well, you have a week. 2 weeks? However time works, you have a little bit of time before, next time we get a Critical Role episode, number 79, because this week is Candelabra Obscura, so we have some time. So get caught up. Spoilers ahead. That's your last warning. Spoilers ahead. So with the spoiler warning out of the way, like normal, it is now time to get into the crux of this video. And that is Fern's big secret. Fern's secret. Whatever we're going to call this one. And the secret is, well, we'll get to it, actually. First and foremost, we've learned a lot about Fern within the last couple episodes. 78 being the biggest one to sort of learn things about her, actually, her past and stuff like that. And one of those things is that Nana Mori said that Fern and her mother were very similar in not just appearance, but also in, the way they act and things they do. She was referring to when Fern showed off the sort of incision or burn that was left behind by Asmodeus's sort of devil or champion. And I'll show the clip here of Nana Mori sort of saying this exact thing.
Oh.
Ditto.
What do you think about, what was his name? Asmodeus?
Asmodeus.
One of them gave me a kiss.
She
and it just didn't go
starts
away.
sniffing the air. I thought I smelled sulfur.
Tevin, I think is his name.
She inspects it. Oh, Fern.
What did I do?
You've been dallying places. I now understand the context for some of these pluckings.
He was just so hot. I just didn't have any power.
You and your mother are more alike than you know.
In this clip right here, as insinuated for the majority of the fan base, that Fern's mother Birdie has also made some sort of devilish deals in the past. And that's sort of what today's video is about. I want to make a theory about who I think Birdie sort of made this deal with and what the deal even entails and why it's so important for everything that's going on within the current standings of Campaign 3. Because I think it is truly important that we talk about it, because it's really interesting, depending on how you want to look at it, of who it is, what it does, what it changed, and why it's so important for everything that's moving forward. So because of this sort of reference, and I've honestly seen this a little bit beforehand, people are starting to believe that Ollie, who the person who we've been told is Fern's father, is actually not her father, potentially. So a lot of people think that Fern's mother, Birdie, made some sort of deal, and that is the deal that sort of birthed Fern. She made a deal with someone, and now we have Fern. Now, in my opinion, there's a few things that point to a certain individual. So the first thing that I want to sort of talk about is Fern and her exaggerated appearance when we come to the Fey Realm. So the first time we ever go to the Fey Realm, Matt explains that Fern takes on this exaggerated, almost cartoon-like sort of visage, of which I will play the clip right here.
I think we may have made a mistake. Okay.
Right this way. Right this way.
This is great.
Is Fern a little bit weirder right now?
Now, this is the interesting point. When you look at Fern, she's Fern, but there's something different about her. Her features are sharper. Her eyes are bigger and deeper. The ears seem to almost be longer. Her limbs seem to be just slightly exaggerated.
The fuck?
There's this
Hag-like?
otherworldly kind of air about her that is just unique.
Did we change animators? Sorry, Furiel. Sorry.
I'm envisioning really dark, dilated goat eyes.
Oh, yes.
Right now.
Love y'all.
Pupils.
Yeah.
It's upsetting at a first glance.
Does everybody else look normal?
Everyone else looks normal.
So what's so interesting about this to me is I don't think we've ever had something be described like this. Yes, our Taggin, the only other character that I can really think of who we've seen jump back and forth between the two realms, that being the Fey realm and the material plane, he doesn't do this transformation. He doesn't have this super, super exaggerated transformation that's super different from his sort of appearance in the material plane. Now, yes, he has exaggerated Fey elements to him, but he keeps those in the material plane, unlike Fern. And I think that's extremely weird for Fern to be able to do this and not him. He, to me, would be the person who would change his appearance. Yes, he might have control over his appearance, but I don't think it would be something like this that's super controllable. I feel like it's be more like a natural impulse for him to be super exaggerated one place and then not so exaggerated in the next, if this is something that's common. But I don't think we've ever had another experience of someone being like this, someone being super exaggerated in one place and someone being not so exaggerated in another. And I find this super interesting and super weird that this seemingly only happens to Fern. This has led me to believe that Fern is, in fact, something else. Not only a Rudisborn, but a child born of Fey magic or fate-shifting magic. I believe Fern's mother, Birdie, wanted to have a child so badly with Ollie, but for whatever reason, they couldn't have it. And she wanted a child so badly that she was willing to do anything to make sure it happened. This is where I believe the deal giver sort of comes in. I believe that the devil who she made a deal with was in fact not a devil, but in fact a fate stitcher, Nanamori. This is why I believe Fern's fate is so clouded. Nanamori claimed that her fate was something in a flux. It was always changing. I believe that she was never meant to be, and that the fate manipulation of, Birdie not being able to have a child, being able to have one, has sort of changed the fate of everything around it. The small thread that is Birdie and Fern has now created a massive change because Fern was never meant to be, and now she's in such a big place. I also believe that this gives Nanamori a true reason to care for Birdie and Fern, because they are family. They are literally family. Her magic conceived Fern in this theory. And I truly believe that this is a true explanation as to what Fern is. Nanamori also explains that she is the way she is with her klepto, tendencies, because she is in this state of flux. The changing in the whims of whatever she wants to do is much like her fate and, her clouded fate. So I think that, to me, is something very interesting. And I think that Nanamori is the quote-unquote father, which is the weird way to put it. I think that's kind of weird. But I think that, there is some sort of parentalness to Nanamori and her magic to Fern. And I think that's why the connection between Birdie, Nanamori is so strong, and then it sort of also goes to Fern. And I believe that's also why Birdie would be so willing to leave Fern with Nanamori. Not only did they sort of get something out of it with the lens, but they also got their child to be safe with Nanamori, someone who they trusted, because they're family. I think this sort of works really well when you look at everything in the grand scheme of things.
Sweet Fern. Your fate is in flux. Like your very whims, it vibrates with uncertainty. Impulsive, darting in and out of darker paths, tugged at by the shadowed places of the scheme. You've always been a beautiful paradox since you were a child. It's why I knew I had to keep you safe. Had to keep one finger on your thread and feel for any untoward plucking. Your true heritage required my attention. So, I'm happy to help. For it seems that maybe now's the time that it's all been heading towards. Maybe we're at the end of the string itself.
So at the beginning of this video, I said that this whole theory was important for what's going on in the current standings of this campaign. And who it was super important. So obviously we know who I believe it is and what it's changed, which is fucking everything. Fern, as a character who is born of manipulated fate, is a wrench in the, the gears, the mechanical, the mechanical plan that is Ludinus's plan to release Predathos. Fern isn't supposed to be here. Fern is like one of the few threads of fate that is clouded, and that is what makes her so interesting to Nana Mori. But furthermore, it means that she's not supposed to be here. It means that she's not supposed to be around for this whole thing, and I think that she is going to be one of the true, changing and defining moments of, will Predathos be released and will Ludinus win? I think that she is something that is so unpredictable, which might be the reason Ludinus picked her up specifically out of the entire group. He could have grabbed everyone while he was in the lava pool with them, but instead he grabbed Fern and wanted to have a chat with her, and I'm starting to believe there was something more to it than just, I want to talk to one of the Bell's Hells. I think he's well aware that she is a massive threat to everything that his plan stands for, and that's, my theory. I think the theory is Fern is going to be the one to put an end to anything Predathos has going on. And if you keep your minds back to, or if you take your minds back to the beginning of this campaign, or earlier on in this campaign, Ollie said that he had visions of someone who looked like Birdie sort of bringing down the end of, the Fey realm, which we now learned was not in fact Birdie, but in fact Fern. And I think this has all sort of related to her character. There's this vision of her, bringing about destruction. There's this idea that she is a fate-twisted, manipulated character now, and that some people are able to look at it, and Ludinus might be able to. We don't know if he can. I think she is the answer to Predathos, to Ludinus's plan, and the destruction of the Fey realm is not the destruction of the Fey realm, but the symbolic destruction of Ruidus in the Fey realm, because it was there, it was connected to the Fey realm for a while. I don't believe it's there anymore because they destroyed the Malleus Key, but the symbolic nature of it is still there, that she will bring down Ruidus and ruin the plans of Ludinus. So let me know what you guys think of my theory down below. I know a lot of people are sort of on the same page of Ollie potentially not being the father, which is kind of what spurred this sort of like this whole idea and this whole theory. And I wanted to see how far back I could take it with, sort of references of Fern being this character who is, related to fate in some weird way. I really like that her klepto nature is also sort of reflective in her fate being muddled, because, the fate is able to twist and turn and go wherever it wants, much like Fern. I very much appreciate the Fern character. She is one of the best characters so far. I love her chaotic nature, and her in the story is just a real sleeper character in my opinion, where at a moment's notice she can drop one of like the most emotional, impactful things, and I'm very excited for where this goes, and I really do hope that she is born of fate manipulating magic, because that would be really fucking cool to me. But anyway, I will see you guys on Friday for whatever video I make next. Peace.
What that mark is a promise. An audience. And a chance to gain and give. A trade.
Okay.
But be warned. Rarely do such trades end in your favor. For you are a smart girl. But he's had eons to perfect the art of deals and carefully threaded untruths.